Hey everybody, Cameron here with Plottr, and you're watching me plot out my next book, which is Pizza Planet 2, and I'm using the Story Genius method. Plottr's helping me along the way. We are on step 31 today, so let's dive into this. Step 31, subplots to scenes. That's what I'm calling this one. So take a look at the list you made of possible subplots already in play when your novel begins. The good news is that if it's on your list, you already know it has story relevance. The first question to ask is always, why will this matter to my protagonist given her quest? The answer, even when it's fuzzy, will tell you where to begin digging into the past, so you can zero in on the precise events that will make it specific, concrete, and viable. Chances are you'll end up with several potential scenes for each subplot you've identified. So this one didn't have an example, and it seems like it was more like a piggyback on the last one. So they're kind of the same thing, but this one seems like it's okay, now dig into each one and add more details and start writing down information about the scenes that you come up with digging through these. So that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to dig into each one a little bit more. I'm going to write out any scenes, or like start a scene card for any of the scenes that I come up with, and start fleshing out some of the characters. Now I know the next step is talking about some of these secondary characters and their subplots, and like fleshing out the characters' backstory themselves. So I'm not going to do too much of that, but as far as it plays into the story, that's what I'm going to start doing. So that's my task for today. So wish me luck. See you on the other side. I'm going to stop here on uh, this step. I got a lot done. I fleshed out a lot of things. There's still more subplots to think through though, and had a bit of a family emergency, and so that's why I stopped filming at that one point. I don't know if you noticed that. And there's nothing I can do right now. We're just waiting. But I'm not in the right mindset to keep going with this. So I'm gonna leave this as an assignment for myself for the next time. But I got a lot done. I thought through most of the main subplots, and these are kind of some minor ones that I can figure out later that only play a minor part. But so I'm gonna end it here and kind of show you what I did and call it a day. So I thought through, I kind of combine all of these here. So Chovy, father and mother, and mother's family, all of those I put into one subplot and thought through what that's going to mean and different pieces of it. And so for each one of these, I actually went to um, where I'm actually writing the book. So this is that book. And I started making plot lines for each one of these things and then just filling them out as I thought through the pieces. I started putting them, trying to put them in order, even though they're not in the right spot. So I didn't care about where they are, and some of them I tagged with needs to move, this tag right here. So then I can just filter by this needs to move and see the ones that need to move. And so that's going to help me later. And so a lot of these, they're not in the right spot, but they're in the right order. Some of them I did put, and they should be in the right spot, like those. But I just went through each one and tried to think through the pieces and the order of each subplot in isolation and where it would take place in the story and where it matters in the story. So I got a bunch of those here. And so even though I said I combined these subplots into one as I was thinking through them, I separated them into a couple different ones when I came to the timeline here. So, well, no, I guess that one's all just one. Yeah, okay, I kept it as one. So never mind. I guess I kept it all as one here. So yeah, that's what I did there, and I can just edit that one to go back there. So I thought through Kalani and their relationship, and I think I've got a funny but good way for his character to handle this. Um, it's going to be a little bit like Frozen 2, where is it Kristoff that's trying to propose to her and just keeps fumbling and saying things that make things worse. So it's going to be similar to that. I don't have the exact details of that worked out, but that's kind of what I'm thinking for him. Like he's trying to get up the courage to propose, but it's not coming out right. Tahu, her cousin, so I figured out stuff about his how he's discovering pineapple on pizza, and it's going to be like this transcendent moment for him, um, and just all the pieces of that. And I thought through how this needs to be weighing heavily on Lewa, that her actions caused the death of her grandmother, even though she didn't. I wouldn't say she killed her, but she's probably going to think that, and it sounds really harsh, and that's kind of the point of it. It's really going to be hard for her, and that needs to be more front and center. I think this is probably one of the main things she's dealing with, I think. And then Wingcraft, I figured out what's going on here. I think this is going to be expressed mostly through Kalani and his subplot. That's where we're going to see the Windcraft happening. So, yeah, with that, I think that's a good overview. There's still a bunch that I haven't filled out here. Let me just move these around. So, how the village reacts, and these subplots I haven't thought through at all. And I made a separate subplot for Kalani and Leiwa's relationship. And I used one of our templates. This is the 12, what's it called? 12 levels of intimacy. That's a cool one that helps you to see the steps of a relationship and go from like not knowing them to emotional intimacy to physical intimacy. And it shows you each one of those. Oh, there's 12 steps in that template. And so I took out the physical intimacy because that's not where this relationship is going. But there are probably some starting points to that. They might kiss, I don't know. And then there's like touching on hand and head and things like that, waist. So I'll have to think through that still. But that's at least the steps in there that are in the wrong spots and may not be used, but they're at least there, and I can start thinking through that with the relationship because of that template. It's a really cool template. So, okay, I think that's good there. Let me go back to step to the pre-writing here. Look how little we have left. We have just a couple steps left. And next step is going to be the secondary character subplots. So I think this is diving deeper into what we did today, specifically for each one of the characters. So we're going to get to do more of that. And yeah, we're getting close to the end here, and then the story will be plotted. So thanks for joining me on step 31. We'll see you next week for step 32. Thank you.